Welcome everybody to tonight's late night Q&A with ZodWriter. Tonight, I have the pleasure of welcoming Mike of all trades, to my panel for tonight. I'm so excited. We've got a lot of great stuff to talk about. I have a feeling it's going to be one of my favorite discussions. I've been following you for a while. I've been paying attention to your videos. You put out a video recently where you uncovered very sleuthfully some Justin Wong stuff. And so I'm definitely going to ask you about that, because you definitely, man, you could change your name to the world's greatest detective, because you literally have got it all. I mean, you laid out that video so amazingly that it's infallible. There's like no way to there's no way to dispute anything you've said. By the end of the video, I was just like, yep, yep, yep. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. I'm like, exactly. I mean, there was you did it so soundly, and you just basically just laid it all out there for people. And I just love the matter of fact way that you went about it. And I mean, can you talk a little bit about that? Because it's crazy to me how great that video is, bro.
It's wild. First off, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Just being here and to be here on the late night setting. So the following comments that might come out of my mouth are uncensored, but they're mine. But so I was sitting here and I was getting, ready for my day and whatnot. And a friend shot me a message and they're like, dude, bro, they're about to start this thing. I said, what are you talking about? And they're like, yo, in this Discord, it's under NDA or whatever else, right? And I'm like, huh. And they're like giving me information. I'm like, huh, right? And so I was just sitting there talking, and we were just sitting there talking, and I'm like, dude, it's funny because we were talking about Justin Wong and we were talking about Evo and stuff, and I was like, dude. And then we started talking about the Daigo video that he put out, and then the Daigo video, you see the collector cade. And I was just like, man, I was like, it's crazy that nobody's talking about it. And then the person I was talking to was like, yeah, dude, they probably don't watch Justin Wong videos. And the home arcade community doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of them things that you see it all the time. Like, people will get a topic, and then you'll see 14 people cover the same topic. You know what I mean? No hate. Get your views, do what you got to do, right? And so UAG, OTG, Jago, where's Jago and myself? Like, we started trolling Justin Wong a couple months ago on Twitter. It was like, hey, this changed your background. Hey, this changed your background. And so I just start looking through Twitter before I make this video, because I'm like, okay, I don't want to put it out. I'm like, because if I put it out, it makes some people mad. But I'm like, but then I kind of want to put it out because, like, whatever. Because as soon as you put it out, oh, it's not real, and you can't prove this and da da da. And anybody who knows me knows, like, I'm not doing anything unless it's sound, unless it's factual. You know what I mean? And we don't do speculative crap around here. So I just start going through Justin's Twitter, and because I'm following whatever else, right? And I'm just like, man. I'm looking at these pictures. I'm like, man, he looks like a real diva. And it's like April 14th or something. And then I just happen to look in the back and I see a Street Fighter Collector K. And I'm like, wait a minute. I had to zoom in. And before I posted, I made sure I went to New Wave. Made sure I went to My Arcade. And, hell, I even checked that game just because, it's random like that, just to make sure I'm covering my bases. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's a Collector K, because why would they put Ghosts and Goblins on it? And then I look at the next picture in that series. And then I see like this countercade on top of freaking X-Men. And I'm like, why is this sticking out so far? Because I have countercades even before the little stupid $18 sale went on. And I'm like, huh. And then I'm like, wait, this thing is poking out like it's like leaning against something. And then it clicked. I was like, and I see one control panel and one controller. And I'm like, dude, what if that's the 2-player? And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put this video out. I'm gonna give people information. Worst case scenario, I'm gonna put all the leaks in the beginning, and then for the next 6 or 7 minutes, I'm gonna blame Justin Long, which I feel bad about because I think he kind of got in trouble and stuff. But it must not have been too bad because he put out a video today and the collector cade sitting right back there on top of Big Blue. So, you know what I mean?
He's obviously very good at what he does. So they probably just let him do it because he's such a master at his craft.
Right.
So it's like, whatever. I mean, maybe he's not the most organized individual in the world to where he just has this stuff all over the place, but that's how people are. They're essentially the talented people are eccentric and kind of leave things messy because that's how they process things. So in that regard, you being the detective that you are, being able to find all that stuff, and I swear, the whole collectorcade fiasco that everybody made a big deal of for a long time after that was announced, after the leak went public that these countercades are legit. For them to be putting out a Street Fighter version of the collectorcade and for you to have sleuthed it out, I think is marvelous. I mean, I'm one of those people who I look at these things and I think, man, if I had a collectorcade and I was just going to display it on the desk, it would be no big deal. It's not like I'm going to play it. I mean, you got 50 gazillion million ways to play these games. Right. So who cares if the collectorcade really isn't all that playable or anything? What difference does it make? I mean, because to me, it's just like a decoration or an ornament. Like remember those really collector back in the day, those collector Hallmark ornaments that they would come out for Christmas.
People still
go nuts about those and collect them because they're so well made. Like you could get it, like for example, you could get like a Star Wars ornament with like R2-D2 on it, and it would be very, very detailed, and it would be very and it would be limited. So there'd be only so many, and you could, and so it's kind of like, I feel like the collectorcade should be something like that, just a limited like desk ornament or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
but the fact that you sleuthed out a Street Fighter, I mean, it's inevitable.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? Because I'm not Big Reese or because I'm not Cool Toy or whatever else. Because remember when the Mortal Kombat collectorcade got revealed and everybody lost their crap and everybody put a video out about it? You know what I mean? But then I put this video out. It's clearly in the thumbnail, and like nobody says a word, even to the point where certain content creators are like, "Oh, there's no news going out," and I'm like, "What you mean?" I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, because I'm pretty sure I just said this, and it's funny. It's gonna take somebody other than me to be like, "Hey, this exists," and then I'm just gonna be like, "But I said that already." You know, that's kind of why, like, I never get on ego or anything else. But that's why I said at the end of the video, I'm like, all I want to hear is Moat was right. That's all I want to hear. Because
that's what I was saying. Moat was right.
do I care about a collectorcade? No. Do I care about a head-to-head countercade? No. But some people do, and some people want that kind of stuff. And so you give them the information, give them the timeline, and whatever else, right? And again, I'm not scummy. I do believe in journalism. You know what I mean? There is journalism in here in these YouTube streams. And people are like, oh, well, you don't have sources. You can't prove them. Like, dude, I have a bunch of receipts. When David R. Spinger, or whatever the hell his name is trying to find out who I am to make sure that I didn't violate NDA so the arcade one of them ninjas can come after me, even though my government name's on Facebook and I posted in the group or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like, bro, I mean, I made some people mad. It is what it is. But again, it's information. It's free. And if anybody looks and pays attention to anything and just, like I said, correlates the timeline, it all just makes sense, you know? And then what's the funny thing about it is, right? I put this video out and then so many people who are under NDA came to me with information. It's like, yeah, man. Yeah, dude, I can say this and I can say that. And da, 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 da. I'm just like, huh. You know, but it's just me. I'm like, I sit on that stuff. Like, I don't care, because for me, it's not about the views. Like, I don't ever want to put a video out unless I'm like passionate about it or actually care. You know, like when all the Dragon's Lair leaks went, I didn't care. Like, I did the weekly retro party show with Nick and OTG because Nick wanted to do it and wanted to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, John sent them the pictures and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, you know, John was like, dude, are you gonna do the show tonight? And I'm like, sure. And he'll tell you, like, dude, I was like, I don't care. I was like, but yeah, I'll do it. You know, whatever else, right? Because, you know, John's the homie. You know what I mean? But unlike everybody else, like, yo, John D and I were cool. I mean, I don't sit him, I don't beg him, I don't ask him for interviews, I'm asking for information, any of that crap, because, you know, we're just cool. You know what I'm saying? But like everybody else, Dragon's Lair, and then people spent like 4 weeks talking about a monitor, and I'm just like,
oh yeah, I'm like whole monitor gate thing. I was just like, it was exhausting watching all of these YouTubers constantly report on it, and then I was thinking to myself, well, I don't know. I have an iArcade and I love the monitor in that. I think it looks wonderful.
Yeah.
But I'm like with you with like Dragon's Lair. I feel the same way. I'm right there with you. I have no interest in a Dragon's Lair cabinet. If I want to play it, I'll play it on the iArcade. It's one of the pack-in games. I don't have to buy it. I don't have to pay anything extra for it. And I'm not that big of a fan of it, to be honest with you. To me, it's like one of the first like interactive movie kind of things.
Yeah.
Where you could literally set it up where you could just watch a movie playthrough of the whole game. You don't why do you want to play a game like that? It's essentially just, delayed video. It's delayed video. That's all it is. There's really no strategy to it. I never really could understand the allure of it, but at the end of the day, I understand that there are fans of it. And the thing that I always struggled with was, why would you want to buy a dedicated cabinet for that particular title? But that's just me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's just the whole thought process. And Steps Gaming, what's up, Steps? Says, who pre-ordered MK30th? And I left this comment on the stream because I wanted to mention the fact that you and I were amongst the group of lucky individuals that got our Mortal Kombat countercade for $18.
Yes, sir.
When Amazon had that horrible leak that probably cost them thousands of dollars as a result of that, because they had to honor that thousands. Right. So I'm happy to have it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's the best, has the best countercade screen that Arcade 1-Up has ever put out. It looks gorgeous as far as the viewing angles and that kind of thing. I love it. But all this stuff about the 30th anniversary Mortal Kombat, I predicted it. I said a long time ago, it's going to be $4.99. Everybody was telling me, no, Zod, it's going to be $5.99. It's going to be $6.49. It's going to be priced like an XL. And I thought about it, Mode. I'm like, but listen, how many times can they release Mortal Kombat? It's getting like Pac-Man at this point.
Well,
they're constantly. So you're at a point where now the only real discernible major difference, apart from, of course, the Mortal Kombat 1 aesthetic, is just the fact that you can now go online. So yeah. I kind of thought, thinking of it logically, I thought, well, it'll be $4.99, like, because it's a legacy cabinet, and yeah, you can play, so you can go online. Online is becoming a standard now, not a feature.
Right.
So
as it should be.
When you know the difference between a standard and a feature, you shouldn't question whether it'll be $4.99 any more than $4.99. Personally, I think they would have had difficulty moving them if they would have charged any more than $4.99, because almost everybody is trying to sell their Mortal Kombat 2 legacy cabinets now.
Yeah, it's insane. Everybody's putting them on the marketplace and Craigslist and whatever else, and some people are putting them on Twitter with misinformation, like, "Oh, you can play online," knowing darn well you can't play online on these things. Like, it's crazy. So I also wanted to be $4.99, but I was trying to push the envelope with UAG and trying to get them to sing karaoke. So I was like, yeah, no, it's going to be $5.50 or $5.99. And at the time, it was just kind of like the math adding up. And over the years, every legacy cabinet has gone from $2.99 to $3.99 to $4.99 now, and it just seemed to be that progression. But the more and more we got closer to it, like, he actually forgot about it. And I was just like, you know what? Let me just bring it up anyway. Maybe I'll get lucky. Yeah, no, Mike B woke up this morning, $4.99. And I'm like, it's not real until Arcade 1-Up says it. $4.99. God dang it! Now I got to sing karaoke.
You see, and there's like so many people that are out there that literally buy every single cabinet, regardless. So I knew that regardless of if it was $4.99 or if it was $6.49 or whatever, these people were gonna buy it. You are wearing pants. So Sharon,
shorts.
So Sharon, you got your answer.
Yep.
Moat is wearing shorts. I love Sharon Peters. She always asks the hard questions.
Right. I'm just waiting for her to slide in my DMs one day. I'm just waiting. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm sure that's possible. I mean, she's pretty awesome. But no, the whole thing with me is that I never bought the Mortal Kombat, legacy cabinet. And I didn't fall for it because I knew they were going to eventually come online. And I was just like, I'll just wait and get the one that comes online.
Yeah.
And my whole thing was, if it's more than $4.99, I'm not buying it because I've seen through the scam and I know what's going on. But if it's $4.99, that'll be a reasonable price. There's ways to get certain discounts from certain places too, so you can get it a little cheaper. So I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the legacy Mortal Kombat. Are you getting it?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it, especially with that code that's out right now with the extra $50 off because I don't work at Best Buy. But yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna get it. I suck at Mortal Kombat, but being able to interact with people and get beat on by Console Fanboy or Rex,
I love it. I love it. I love it. We've been, we've all been playing Fightcade for a while now, and so shout out to the Laundromat Wars and Fightcade. Fightcade has been a lot of fun lately, and one of the reasons why I've been so hesitant about getting on with some of these cabinets is just simply that there's actually more people that play on Fightcade than there are in these one-up lobbies.
Right.
So for me, I was like, well, with Mortal Kombat it's different because I love Mortal Kombat and I love playing with the community. So I'll definitely, like I say, as long as the cap is no more than $4.99, then I have no problem. Then I have no problem getting it because you can easily justify that with the ability to play online and then the beautiful Mortal Kombat 1 artwork.
It's more than just Mortal Kombat. You can play Rampage online. You know what I mean? I don't know how certain games like Tubin or whatnot are going to work and how they're going to figure that out. But the ability to play some of those midway titles online might be great. Sorry, Paperboy, but I mean, Paperboy would have been fun if they would actually just made a Paperboy cabinet. But
I agree.
Like back in the day,
I'm still holding out for the day that Arcade 1-Up puts out a tapper cabinet where you're actually able to. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. Maybe they see it's like a niche title or something like Qbert or something.
It's a niche title like Qbert, and you probably, I mean, it would actually be kind of cute if they did like a tapper countercade, and they did like a little tapper, and you could just kind of be kind of fun. Like the game is cool. It's fun to play on on multicades and stuff like that. I really like tapper, and I'd love to see a dedicated cap. I think that'd be nice. Yeah. Maybe one of these smaller companies like New Wave Toys or that kind of thing. They're gonna or Numbskull. Maybe they'll do a tapper replica where it's authentic looking and stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
I wonder if that will scratch the itch for people, though. Like I wonder if that'll be enough. Some people might want more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Sharon Peters says, "I'm just sitting here enjoying my Starbucks. Let's see, salted caramel mocha latte with 30 pumps of sugar-free vanilla substitute with a touch of gender-free vegan cinnamon nutmeg swirled in doo-doo butter." Wow, Sharon, that was so descriptive that I think you should be writing poetry. If you can get that descriptive about your Starbucks latte, I mean, poetry should be easy for you at this point. Wow, that was awesome.
30 pumps of sugar, that's a lot.
Like, yeah,
I mean, 75% sugar.
Being
5% latte.
being so hot, being so hyped up, and it's amazing. So Mo, what are your feelings on the current state at this point of the iArcade? What do you think about the iArcade now? Because you've had one for a while, and you've had some experience with it. You did an excellent review video of it, by the way, and your video was kind of one of the things that put me over the top, because I was kind of like, wow, that coming from you, you know,
Thank you.
you gave it a legit thumbs up, and you were kind of, and what I love is that, and the majority of you guys that I've interviewed and had on this late night Q&A, what I love is that you're real people and you give your legitimate opinions and you're not fake about stuff. You tell
Right.
it the way that you see it, and that's how I always appreciate it, because I don't like fake people. I don't get along with fake people. I've seen enough of fake people on YouTube and on social media. And so when I gravitate towards YouTubers who tell the truth and like to and totally lay it out there. So yeah, your feelings, man, when it on the iArcade as of right now that online is in its infancy stages and things are kind of starting to get off the ground.
First, I'd like to say that I enjoy the fact that I got in the door for $300. First and foremost. No, like honestly, it's a really good product. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's the best product in the home arcade scene right now for the price, It's funny when they were doing the liquidations back in like November, we were all like, oh, they're gonna come out with a new product, and everybody's like, no, they're not going to, and they didn't. iArcade Gold's coming out and people are getting them right now, and that's cool and everything. But from where iArcade started to where they're at now, there's been just growth, just within the brand, within the company, within the product that they're putting out, giving people options, not locking out the current consumers while also trying to advocate to new consumers. The announcement of USB gaming devices via Bluetooth for the current owners like myself, or being able to plug into USB with the iArcade Gold, like that's great. Them taking strides in the online gaming part of it. I've watched some people play the alpha. I've watched Brooklyn Menace stream it, and him and Papa Brad and them. I've watched them go at it. That's on my to-do list tomorrow to play some online iArcade, to test it out for myself. They're expanding the library in the alpha. They haven't announced anything about pricing yet for the online, but either it'll come or it won't. I'm sure it'll be there, because let's be real, it kind of has to be. But for what they're offering and what they're doing, it's good. It really is. It's good. And the fact that they've extended their pricing till the end of the month for the $200 off for anybody who doesn't have it, it's good. I can't. There's not anything I can really knock the iArcade for. The only thing I ever give iArcade crap about is the game selection. But that's also a company going through its growing pains. Like iArcade's been around for what, 2 years? Maybe about to be 3 now, so like they're going through growing pains and they're getting out of the sophomore slump, and they're starting to get things. And do I believe that they'll have bigger titles in the future? Yeah, of course. Now, of course, like Ninja Clowns isn't for me, but somebody likes Ninja Clowns, and that's the one thing about iArcade. They offer something for everybody, and now
yeah, I think Ninja Kids is a little better than Ninja Clowns.
Yeah.
But,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a really good freaking. That's what I said. It's literally the best platform, and I say that over and over and over again. They have an online store. They're doing e-commerce transactions where you can just buy what you want to put on it. They didn't lock you in like the at games Legends Ultimate, where you had to buy 350 or 300 games depending on which one you got, knowing that you were only going to play like 20 of them. Sometimes a bunch of games become a detriment. That's why I never understood the real purpose of a multicade. Because if you have
you're not a fan of multicades at
all?
all?
No. I'm not saying I won't use it. Let's be real. I've done some nefarious things to things that I own, or maybe put a Bobby Voo thing in something behind me. So no, I definitely believe in I definitely believe in a multicade. But as a consumer, you're buying
shout out to the great Bobby Voo, by the way. Yeah, absolutely.
Clean like a mother. But as a consumer buying something, it becomes overwhelming. I always, there's a discussion like, oh, well, maybe Arcade 1-Up should have 20 games on their thing, whatever, right? I think 11 or 12 if you pre-order a certain version. I think 12 is a good starting point. And then you can add whatever you want to add on to it, and build your library. And I think that's the big advantage that iArcade has right now. They can build their library with titles that they make available every week. And it spans all genres, all kinds of technical prowess and technical specs. For as much crap as we gave Moto Rush GT, like it takes some real hardware to run that game. You know what I mean? It's not just like little things like Montezuma's Revenge and things of that nature. So I give it another year, and I think that there'll be a title on there that I think will blow everybody out of the water, and
Oh yeah.
and then literally everybody will be like, oh well, yeah, this IR arcade is legit. Not to steal a phrase from Papa Brad or whatever, right? But like, I mean, like, yo, like this thing is legit,
Yeah.
And then you'll have a lot of people be like, okay, you were right. This is really good. And then you have to give them their flowers, because those people who hadn't, if they wouldn't have backed the Kickstarter and been there day one and put that money in day one, who knows where this platform would be if it even exists at the time. Like I remember. See, and before anybody like says like, oh well, Moat just got in the door, dude. I remember watching the Retro Ralph interview when Retro Ralph did the IRK, when it had the big Team Rocket logo in the middle of the goddamn speakers, and that gimmick was white with the black trim, and it was only running Double Dragon. Yeah, I was that guy, legit. I popped for it a little. I was like, because at the time I was watching YouTube videos about bar tops, and I was in this thing like, man, I want to build one. Like I want to build a bar top, and it just so serendipitously just like dropped in my lap, and I'm like, okay. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like it's new tech, and I think everybody loves new tech in the first place. But if you can have new tech that you can push buttons on, it's great. Like come on, like in the last couple of months they added freaking splash screens that updated all the time. Let's be real. Do you know how jealous I was that I saw Rainwater and freaking Endless One Up had their favorite game on the doggone machine, and I'm sitting here with my arms crossed like, yeah. Well, why is there no MikeOfAllTrades logo? But no, real talk though, it's really good. And the thing is, and the thing about IRK, I'll give it this. I will say this. The IRK community is hella positive. You don't see a lot of negative. You don't see a lot of bashing. You don't see a lot of like self-destructing.
It's beautiful.
This person hating on this person, or that person hating on that person. If you see it in the Facebook group, somebody's quick to nip it in the bud and destroy things with facts. So kudos to the IRK community. Again, as they so eloquently stated tonight on their podcast, everybody's an IRKian. You know what I mean? And that's great. Like they've taken this family aspect and this feeling of togetherness, and they've run with it. And literally, it's just you meet so many different people from so many different walks of life, and all because of one machine. In a black and white world, have I met people because of Arcade One Up? Yeah, I've come across a couple cool people. A lot of them are douchebags. You know what I mean? But for the most part, there's like for every 3, 4, or 5 douchebags you meet one like real cool person. You know what I mean? But I can genuinely say, like, I have not met one bad person from the IRK community. You know what I mean?
None.
And before anybody in the chat types, oh well, Rainwater. No, I have no heat with Rainwater. I'm cool with Rainwater. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing with Rainwater was like, yo, hey, let's debate. You know what I mean? And I think the signals got crossed. You know what I mean? Like I literally,
yeah. Rainwater is a cool guy. I've had Rainwater on here, and Rainwater's a good dude. I have no issues with him either. And that's the thing. You're right about IRcade 100%. I mean, especially here's the thing. I've never met somebody who's ahead of a company that's so accessible,
so hands-on.
You can literally DM Jong from IRK, and he responds, and he will have conversations with you. It's incredible. Like I've never seen anything like that in my life, and to me, this is the passion and the love that man shows for the product and for the customers. Is what sold me on the IRcade more than the IRcade itself. Aside from the fact that the hardware is superior to everything else, just like you said, it's just amazing. It's an amazing product, and it has amazing, genuinely good people behind it, and that is rare in the society that we live in right now. Very rare.
You can definitely, and I give them that. You can definitely feel the passion when you hear Jong speak. You know what I mean? Like it's not like scripted or whatever else, right? And sometimes he might have issues conveying what he really wants to get across. But you know what I'm saying? But you can feel it. And it's when you feel something, you know what I mean? Like that crosses all borders, all languages.
He doesn't disrespect, and he doesn't disrespect anybody. He's all about positivity 100%. He's excited for every game. He's excited for every new customer. He's excited for anything that he can do for you. Anything that he can do that the fans want that's within his power. He'll get it done. Yeah. He's a good guy. And that to me is is priceless.
Yeah.
That's worth more than 20 of these companies, because there's a lot of little small, arcade builders out there that are shady, that are just out to make a quick buck and don't care about anybody, and they just throw together cheap machines and put them out, and don't care, and they have horrible customer service. It's ridiculous. But with iArcade, you don't see anything like that. You can tell that it's all 100% legit, and I agree with you. It's a great product. Now, do you have an MVSX?
I have not bought one yet. CT Jason keeps trying to convince me to buy one.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So the night that you did the Unico stream, I could never get the guy's email. Once he's like, "Oh, I'll send you one for review," and I was like, "Yeah." And then I thought about it, I was like, "Oh crap, I never got his email." Because I would love to review it. I would genuinely I'm the type of person that I'll give everything a shot once, except for Toy Shock.
Well, do you like Neo Geo games?
Oh, I love Neo Geo games. Like I am a Terry Bogard mark. Like
listen,
all I did on Super Nintendo was playing Fatal Fury and Art of Fighting. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Metal Slug was my jam. Yeah, I love Neo Geo. It was always that one console that was way too freaking expensive.
Too expensive growing up. It was something that was unattainable. It was like the holy grail of. I tell this story all the time about how I used to go to the mall and there would be an electronics boutique. And back in the early days, they would have a gold Neo Geo in the window. And it used to remind me of, when I think back about it now, I always think about like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the Golden Ticket,
Yeah.
I kind of think of it like that, like, because nobody could afford a Neo Geo at the prices that they were selling. I think it was like $800 at the time.
Yeah,
back in the day,
like $250.
And the cartridges were like $250 a piece. And then I forgot how much the gold Neo Geo was, but if the regular one was like $800, then you're looking at probably about $2,000 for the gold, $2,000 or more. And it always fascinated me, that system. And the irony of the Neo Geo is it's one of the easiest systems to emulate known to man. You can run Neo Geo on a potato if you're skilled enough.
Facts.
I just so, to me, I always find that so funny that back in the day, the hardware for Neo Geo was the most expensive money could buy. It was almost like a status symbol for rich kids. But now you can run it on anything. You don't need none of their hardware. So for me, but the MVSX, with iArcade being the best product on the market right now, with the potential and everything you can do, and now the online, I agree with you 100% about its status and where it is. But for me, I think the MVSX is the best offline cabinet you can get. For a number of different reasons. One, you're able, you buy that cabinet and you got 50 games right out of the box. 50 Neo Geo classics that you're gonna, even if you don't like every game that's on the cab, you're gonna find at least a handful of games that you will play, that you do like. And then of course there's the Hilo hack, where you can add all of the Neo Geo games, and you could add all of the Capcom all the Capcom Play System games. You can add all of them. It's incredible. It's a great system, and it's totally underrated too. So I really do hope you get one, because I think you will enjoy it. Even if you get it and you just review it, I think you'll be sold on it once you've had a chance to spend some time with it.
It looks fun. Like it's not one of the things where it's like, oh well, no, it just sucks. No, it's just this, and this. It's just kind of like, it's there, but it's still on my radar. I actually have it in my my add to cart, so in my save later section in Amazon still. So it's still there with the little not the bar. The bar
are you running out of space yet, Mo?
Yes.
That's a question I ask everybody.
so literally, I had to move the Legends Ultimate and the Pac-Man 40th out of here and put it in my living room, because I'm just like, okay, well, the leaks are true, so I'm gonna need room for Marvel's Capcom 2 Time Crisis. I, despite the monitor, I was a big Shaquille O'Neal fan when I was a kid, so I am going to get the NBA Jam.
You're one of the very few people I know that's actually going to get that Shaq edition.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
love
cool.
Shaq.
I'm looking forward to your review. That's going to be great because
Yeah,
you're one of the people that regard you're not doing that. You're like I'm actually getting one, and that's great to see because now everybody will get a chance to actually see
yeah,
what somebody with some credibility actually thinks of it. So
yeah.
I'm excited. That's
I
going to
don't, I
be
don't, I
cool.
don't, I don't I don't think it's a purpose. Just like I don't want to crap on something just to crap on something. Like, do anything can look bad in a photo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like anything can look horrible. Or if you're recording video, it doesn't matter. You can make anything look bad in a photo. It's all about being face to face. And let's be real, you're going to be standing in front of the cabinet. You know what I mean? Or if you're going to be sitting on a stool, like what I'm saying, or if half you're watching this, you know what I mean? You might be sitting on a stool playing this, whatever, right? You know what I mean? But as long as you're right in front of it and it looks good, you know, it doesn't matter. My concern was at like I'm 6'3.5", so almost 6'4", and so standing up, but it's 65 inches tall, and that's almost regular size. So I wish the panel was a little lower. I want the old school like 36-inch panel. You know what I mean? Like for everybody who gave crap for like Big Blue, oh, the panel's too low. No, that's normal size. It's supposed to be that low. You know what I mean? Like bringing that kind of thing to it. But as far as room goes, yeah, no. I literally had to move crap. I'm actually sitting there looking at the stools right now, and I'm like, you know, you might have to go in a little bit because literally you got to have somewhere to where to put this stuff. You know what I mean? Yes,
I
UAG. I kicked the ugly girl out the room. She's in the living room next to the CRT.
I wouldn't get a you know what? I just totally forgot what I was going to say right now. So I guess I'll read some comments before we get to the next thing. Darkness Under the Wind says, "Hey Zod, can't stay, but just wanted to say hi and just curious how come you have this stream for subscribers only mode." Well, subscribers only mode it doesn't stop other people from watching the stream. It just stops people from commenting who are not subscribers. And if you've been following me on social media, you know I've been having some issues with some people lately and some trolls, and I didn't really want that to trickle down into my streams because when I do these streams, it's like a talk show. I take it seriously, and I want to have as candid of a conversation as I possibly can. So
Right.
this way you don't have the distractions that you get when you have just anybody can comment, and then you get all kinds of trolls and you get all kinds of people, bots and things that you don't really want to deal with. So that's why. I hope that answered your question. Let's see. Steps Gaming says here, "I don't want to collab with any of you all on sex toys. That's a hard pass." Okay.
Sorry, Steps. That's on me. So
Yeah.
I thought I put my phone on silent, and I'm reading the chat. I'm like they're like buzz, 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 and it's clear as day. Classic as always happens. My phone never goes off until I'm doing something, and literally I start doing something.
The same thing happens to
I'm
me
like,
too, and it's like
and so
nonstop.
I see Sharon. I'm talking like, what is that buzzing noise? And I'm like, oh crap, let me silence this real fast. So sorry, y'all.
And shout out to the great OTG Overthink Gaming. You know, I had Overthink Gaming on my late night Q&A not too long ago, and it was so great. But OTG, a long time, about 2 years ago, interviewed one of my favorite YouTubers of all time, but he was so quiet in the video that when I watched the video, I didn't even know it was him. He actually had the rare privilege and honor to interview the great Bithead 1000. Now, Bithead 1000 is a YouTuber I've been following for the better part of a decade. And when I watched this video and I saw OTG was interviewing him with another gentleman I'm not too familiar with, I was just like, but that's OTG. I was going crazy because I'm like, man, he barely spoke, Jason, he barely talked. And it was like, at first I didn't know it was you. And then I went back and rewatched. I was having a conversation with Rexer and we were talking about Bithead 1000. And I went back and I watched the video because I sent it to Rexer. And then Rexer pointed it out to me. He's like, that's OTG, right? And I was like, wait a minute. And I looked at and I saw the shoes in the background and all that. It's like, oh yeah, that's OTG. Oh my God. He didn't speak. But OTG says, hell yeah, I pre-ordered so I can make my 2021 legacy of Street Fighter, the movie, the game. Wow.
I
Yeah.
literally just watched that video.
I watched that video right before the show.
Yep.
And to tell you the truth, that was beautiful.
Yeah,
that was
nice.
Amazing.
But OTG, you have an obsession. It's starting to become unhealthy, and I'm going to need you to calm down a little bit with this Street Fighter the movie the game, because that's how Street Fighter the movie the game, the tournament, the sequel gets born. So let's just calm it down a little bit.
Oh my God! And I got Goofy Foot in the chat with a $4.99 super chat saying I have to pay to say hey. Thank you very much for the super chat, Goofy Foot. I appreciate it. You are welcome here anytime. It's great to see you. And we've got so many comments here. I'm just trying to pick something out that's appropriate to what we are talking about, because I know you guys are talking amongst yourself, and I love all of that, interaction in the chat, and it makes me feel really, really humble that you guys take your time out to come and watch me interview great people like Mike of All Trades. This is awesome stuff. And let's see, Steps. Gotta love Steps. Steps says MVSX is the best quality cabinet I have, even over iArcade. The issue is no online, which is boring.
But is that a deal breaker in 2022? I guess that's the question I have for you. If a cabinet doesn't have online, so do you have any interest in it?
No, it's not a deal breaker, but I'm like you. I'm running out of space. I live in a small apartment, and I live in a small apartment, and I got 5 cabinets. I gotta be selective now, right? So I'm getting the 30th anniversary, so that's gonna be 6. And so I really don't, unless I could probably, after I get this Mortal Kombat 30th, I could probably fit one more cabinet in my bathroom. I mean, that's pretty much where we are. It's pretty fun, like a toilet cage, yeah. And I got Bobby Vu working on a not a Mortal Kombat. I got Mortal Kombat on the brain. Working on a Killer Instinct bar top for me. So
that's awesome.
So that's going to be something that I'm, that I'm going to have too. So I think I'm pretty much done. I think I'm pretty much, I don't really have much desire to continue buying cabinets. I love new technology, and I love watching you guys review all this great stuff and seeing what it's all about. But as far as me actually owning cabinets, I think I'm going to be all tapped out until I move, because I'm like, wow,
I feel you.
There's just only so much room. And here's the thing. I'll never get rid of the iArcade because I love, again, just everything behind it, like what we just talked about. I mean, the iArcade is wonderful, and every cabinet that I have, I'm in love with. I think they're great cabinets, and when you get cabinets that you feel are for you and are tailored to you, you really don't, you don't really have any desire to part with them. Now, I never got the Act Games Legends Ultimate.
Oh, did you? Missing out. Oh, I have it. The Legends Ultimate. That's one of the things I moved into my living room. It's so good. We UAG likes to call her the ugly girl. You know what I mean? I call her Betty. You know what I'm saying? And Betty, she does a lot of good things. It's a really good platform. It's really freaking good. So yeah, that's one of the cabinets that I was convinced to buy because of Retro Ralph's video. So Ralph, I blame you for me owning that. But I also thank you for making me buy that, because literally, let's be real, I can play anything back there on that Legends Ultimate. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret of how I get my Act Games fix. What I did was I didn't get the Legends Ultimate, but because of Retro Ralph and a couple other of our good friends, I went and ended up getting the Walmart. Walmart was having a flash sale on the Legends on the At Games Legends Gamer Pro.
Oh, you got a Pro. Okay,
It
nice.
was $49.99. I could not pass it up. It was the best deal I ever saw. So I got that. And what I did was I bought a 24-inch HD TV. Okay, and I connected I put it's a flat panel, 24-inch, just like the Legends Ultimate. It has a 24-inch screen. And what I did was I put that on my couch, connected the Legends Gamer Pro, did the coin ops, did all that stuff, connected it all to the TV, and now I have a couchcade version of the Legends Ultimate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. I think I have that that's actually sitting in my closet.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun that it's like I look at it and I say, well, gee, and sometimes I look at it and I say to myself, I don't know that I necessarily had I got this early on, the way I made my couchcade, my setup.
Mm-hmm.
Had I gotten this early on, I don't think I would have as many cabinets as I have now, because you really don't need them if you just want to play arcade games and a couple. You really got everything you need here. The controls are the same controls as the iArcade, essentially the same buttons and sticks. So you're not losing anything except maybe, better aspects of online, which we have iArcade. And then, the 30th anniversary for Mortal Kombat is going to be enough for me, because I'm like, yeah, I just want to play Mortal Kombat online with all you guys. So it's sort of like every itch is getting scratched. There's options for everybody. And that's what's making this scene so amazing. I mean, I wish 15-year-old me knew about the kinds of things we were going to have now.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible.
and I think it's young 15 or 16-year-old Mope that makes me go and buy all this stuff, because when Big Blue came out, I had Legends Ultimate. Everything on Big Blue I can play on my Legends Ultimate. Literally, the only thing I can't run on it without hooking a PC up to it is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Didn't need to buy that, but everybody wanted to play it online. You know what I mean? So I bought that. Didn't want to buy that, but it's not FOMO. You know what I'm saying? Because
I hooked up Bobby Vu, the Bobby Vu PC with Batacera. I hooked that up to the same little screen that I got the Legends Gamer Pro hooked up to. So when I want to play the stuff like that, Marvel versus Capcom 2 and whatever, that's on there, and you can play it. It's fantastic. So every itch gets scratched. You don't really have a thing. Now I tweeted about this shortly after you put out your video. I think that Marvel versus Capcom 2 is going to be the best-selling home arcade of all time. I think because it's going to blow everything away. So many people want that cabinet for so many different reasons, especially professional gamers, fighters in the Marvel versus Capcom 2 fighting circuit. That's been huge all over the world for decades now. So I think that cabinet is something that everybody's gonna be all about. Now, is that a cabinet that you're definitely getting?
Day one. That's not even a question. Day one. As soon as Max created the free MVC2 movement, I had that on my Twitter handle for like a year. You know what I mean? No, that's day one. And people regard the Star Wars cabinet as like the best arcade one-up cabinet that they've ever produced. With what's on the line with this product and whatever in this lineage, I legitimately think that this might actually be the best one. And not because I love fighting games, but I guarantee you they're going to go over this thing with a tooth and comb and meticulously analyze everything, because you're not going to go to Evo and put up trash. You know what I mean? Let's be real about that. Like, you're not going to go in front of the FGC and be like, oh, well, here's this, which is something we were talking about Tuesday night on the podcast with Chill and Chill, right? And I was like, dude, I think they're going to announce a freaking Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Pro. And I think that when they hold their exhibitions, you know what I mean? I think they're going to do that because Johnny's going, Rev's going. So I'm of the firm belief that they're going to have an exhibition with Justin Wong and somebody else. I think Rev's going to commentate a match. You know what I mean? Legit, like straight up. I think Rev's going to commentate a match or somehow get involved in that some way. You know what I mean? And I think they show the bundle that they'll sell in retails. And then I think they show a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Pro Edition. But I think what they play on is the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Pro Edition. And it's part of the reason why we haven't gotten Killer Instinct Pro yet, because it just makes sense. Because yeah, Justin Wong, he'll play on it or whatever else, right? You know, and other people they'll get their itch and play on it. But to somebody who spends $500-$600 on a fight stick and they push the buttons on an arcade 1-up, they might just be kind of like, no, this ain't it. You know what I mean? Like they have to mod it wherever else. Like now, people like you and I, we might not care because we grew up in those arcades where the buttons were either broken or, you know what I'm saying, they were trash, or you can tell that the vendor put in some cheap buttons. So to me, it doesn't matter. I'm a clank and bang on whatever. But you know what I mean? But for the purist, you hear Marvel vs. Capcom 2, they might just get it just to play online because you can't get it online in any other way unless you're on Fightcade or you own the PS3 or the 360 versions like I do. Full disclosure, that's the whole reason why I still own both of them, because I have both of them on there, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to go to Evo and they're going to make a fool of themselves. You know, I think they're going there with something where they can like put their chest out and boast and whatever else. I mean, so that's just my own opinion.
I got a feeling though that Marvel versus Capcom 2, if they want to do it right and they're going to Evo and everything like you said, I think it should just be Pro right out of the gate.
Agreed.
I don't think they have any reason to make a cheap version of Marvel versus Capcom 2. They already know that Marvel versus Capcom 2 has that professional gamer appeal.
Right.
So you already know that your audience, you're going to make a ton of money off of those pro gamers. So you might as well just go pro all the way, because people will pay it for that game. That game is a staple again, with fighting game professionals. So it would be like if Arcade 1-Up released an Atomus Wave Fist of the North Star machine. Yeah. I would be all over it, except here's the thing with the Fist of the North Star machine. I want those legit controls. I don't want fake buttons. I don't want fake controls. I want the feel of how the arcade game felt.
Yeah.
I mean, you want it to be because you see Fist of the North Star in the fighting tournaments all the time. And it's like you watch some of those online and you're like, how are they pulling off those moves? They're using the legitimate controls. Like when Console Fanboy got the legitimate hapstick and button controls for Mortal Kombat for Fightcade, I turned around and did the same thing. I said, hey, Zohar, what stick did you get? He told me which one he got. I went on eBay. I got the same one, and I love it. I love the feeling of the hapstick and buttons playing on Fightcade. I get my butt handed to me all the time, and I take a lot of pineapples, but I'll tell you this, I have a good time, because there's nothing better than the feeling of those legit controls. Yeah. And like you said, you know, it's not really a problem playing on whatever for most games, because most arcades you play, you have to make compromises at some point. But for a game like Marvel versus Capcom 2, I think it's important. It should just be pro 100% out of the gate.
And I wish, like, and I never wish this on any cabinet that Arcade wants to put out, but I wish that they would only make a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Pro cabinet. You know what I mean?
Me
and
too.
I get it. I get it. UAG, you're right. Everybody can't afford the Pro line. I get that.
I agree completely with that too. But but for that game, just that game, I'm not saying they should change their line or they should not offer regular with the same old buttons and sticks. My thing is this, and I've said this before, Moat, I don't understand why Arcade 1-Up doesn't just go to the same buttons and sticks that iArcade and Act Games uses.
Oh, the Soundwalk clones?
Just go to those. Those are good.
Because some people are weird. like some people don't like sound though. That's the weird thing. Some people like the concave buttons, like they have that old like muscle memory of Suzo Hap or Io Lorenzo's, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's
for Mortal Kombat, you got the Hap.
yeah.
And it's fantastic.
And that's
for
just the way
Killer
it has to be.
Instinct, you want Hap. But for most things, I don't know. I love the feel of the buttons and sticks for the iArcade. I'm not gonna lie.
I play with either. So either way, it presses, it responds, it's fast. I'm with either one. You know what I mean? But again, to the normal person, I don't know. It's kind of one of them situations, kind of like where Marvel vs. Capcom should be like Killer Instinct, but do it in reverse. Put the pro line out of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, because if anything has been shown, and what Akuma Rev has shown, will put your quarters on the glass, that there is an RFGC esports potential. And you could do esports on an arcade one-up. That has been shown. You know what I mean? And now Laundromat Wars has kind of picked that ball up, you know what I mean, and been scratching that itch, and I know that they're talking about doing Mortal Kombat, you know what I'm saying, Mortal Mondays and whatever else, right? So they picked that ball up, right? But that scene is there. And you have so many people that are excited to play this game and to really scratch that itch without having to do it through Fightcade or whatever else. Because I don't know if y'all have ever played Fightcade, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That community can get a little toxic sometimes. just a little bit. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Get a little toxic sometimes.
I agree.
Fightcade
is tough. Fightcade is tough because with Fightcade you have a lot of people that play a lot of different ways. They play with some people play with keyboards and hit boxes and not just. And to me, I can't imagine playing without without a good fight stick.
Yeah,
I'm all about a good fight stick. If I don't have a good fight stick, I'm not interested. And when I got the Mortal Kombat fight stick, I was like, any game that I can't play with this fight stick, I won't be playing.
Yeah.
So for Fightcade, I map everything. I map everything to that stick, regardless of how ridiculous it may seem.
Right.
I don't care about because when we last week on Laundromat Wars, when we were playing Street Fighter the movie, the game, they were like, you're playing with the Mortal Kombat stick. Yeah.
Why not? A stick is a stick. You know what I mean? Like,
you just map the buttons. You just map the buttons
you're good to
accordingly, and you're good to go. And that's one of the things I love about Fightcade. You have complete control over how you map the buttons. So therefore, you shouldn't have any problems. You can make it as comfortable for you as possible. You can play with a gamepad, play with a keyboard, play with your fight stick, whatever fits your style of gameplay. But that leads to a lot of things with like exploits and things that people can use, and pro gamers, as you call them. But when we get the 30th anniversary legacy from Arcade 1-Up, everybody is going to be limited to those buttons and sticks unless they go the Bobby Vu route and have Bobby make a new control panel for Mortal Kombat. But I mean,
you don't think Bobby's already got that on the brain?
I said that one time, and Bobby was in the chat, and he's like on it, and I'm just like, see, everybody's been doing that with Killer Instinct and with the Big Blue, and I didn't get the Big Blue because again I'm limited on space, and then number two, I'm not very good at Street Fighter. So I was like, I don't really want to go on, on Street Fighter online and get my butt kicked, get it handed to me every single match. So I was because I know y'all on that Big Blue are all some pretty good players. You guys really step your game up on a lot of that Big Blue stuff. And it just, to me, what's your favorite game to play on the Big Blue?
Oh man. So everybody loves CE. I personally love hyper fighting. You know what I mean? Like that just speaks to me.
Hyper fighting is fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to go to like a lot of hyper fighting tournaments and whatnot. So hyper fighting is great for me. I don't know if I have a guilty pleasure game though, but for me it's hyper fighting. It's reminiscent of what I used to go on the arcade and play. I guess maybe the game that I secretly like to play that nobody likes to play is Saturday Night Slam Masters. I like that game. I enjoyed it a lot, you know. And it was one of the things where we didn't have it in an arcade anywhere in like Milwaukee and Wisconsin, whatever, like any arcade we went to. So it's just kind of one of the things like you get to learn how to play it. You know what I mean? And yes, Goofy Foot, look, we had needle nose pliers turned into TV, you know what I'm saying? It's between UHF and VHF, you know what I mean? And then we got the old busted TVs where you had to use the pin and hit the buttons. Bro, look, I'm old. Look, I'm old.
Yeah, Goofy Foot with the $4.99 super chat saying, haha, moat. And we had Vice Crips on our TV to change the channel. Yes, thank you again, Goofy Foot, for the super chat. Appreciate it, man. I really got to get some little gaming drops for y'all. I know a lot of you guys use gaming drops for super chats and stuff, so I really got to get on that. I haven't done that yet, I confess. So any drops that I have don't really have anything to do with gaming, but I'm working on it. But yeah, my favorite version of Street Fighter all time is Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the 3DO.
That's a good version.
To me, that version is just perfection. Down to like the music.
Yeah,
the music is perfect, and the gameplay is smooth. The only thing I never really liked about the 3DO was I never liked the controls for the 3DO.
Yeah,
I never liked the pad, and I didn't like the fighting pad they came out with for that too. So now I still have my 3DO. I still have an FC10 3DO, but I never hook it up, and I play anytime I play a 3DO game, I play it through emulation because I can have whatever controller I want to have, mapped to it. But to me, to this day, that is still my favorite version of Street Fighter. I don't think they've ever topped it, because all of the other, releases, you could say, oh yeah, the Street Fighter 2 for Super Street Fighter 2 for Super Nintendo, and there was a Genesis version, and there were different versions, and of course there was various collections that came out. But for me, yeah, it's always been that 3DO version. That's my go-to when I play Street Fighter.
Yeah, no, that's a really good version. That's a really good version of Street Fighter.
I'd actually like to see iArcade maybe get that port. I think iArcade, that's another conversation. iArcade could start getting console ports of some of these games, since the iArcade is actually a console. So I've always wondered. I mean, what do you think if iArcade were to start getting some of those licenses? Couldn't you see the iArcade getting like the Contra collection, the Castlevania collection, the Street Fighter collection, that kind of stuff?
I think it would be smart for them to work in the lanes that they already have access to. For instance, it's funny that you bring up console games, because a console game that I would love to see them do that they have access to because they have a working relationship with Sega, I would love to see them put out Eternal Champions. Eternal Champions was a weird fighting game that came out back in was it 92 or something?
They could drop the Sega CD version on the iArcade.
Yeah, and I love that game. Like, that game it's crazy. I think that was the first real fighting game as an African American little boy, dude, that you got to see somebody dressed like Hero with like Blade and stuff, and like besides Blade,
he did look a lot like Blade, didn't he? Yeah, I'm with you there. Definitely, that was dope, bro.
Yeah, and so it's one of them things like, yeah, like there should legitimately be some console ports. I'm not saying, hey, put Sonic the Hedgehog on there or whatever else like that, but there are games that they can get, maybe Alex the Kid or Gunstar Heroes, like stick in that lane of games that like the big bad wolf isn't going to try to take, and maybe arcade port, maybe console ports are good, and console ports aren't a bad thing. Hell, get a console port of okay, well, you're not getting a console port of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but you know what I mean? Like maybe a console port of Soul Edge or Soul Calibur, you know what I mean?
Wait, though. A console port of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 would essentially be the Dreamcast port.
Exactly.
And iArcade could perfectly run Dreamcast.
Right.
They've got the hardware for it.
Right.
I don't understand why they don't start going after a Thomas Wave.
I don't know. That's a really good freaking question. Like I personally, I love the Dreamcast version of Marvel's Capcom 2. That's what's running right there. Like, dude, I love that version over the arcade version. Nothing wrong with the arcade version, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, like there are console games that they could literally go seek. You know, I'm not saying like they should go and be like, hey, let's port Plasma Sword or let's port Project Justice. You know, you got to be, you know, whatever. But there's certain games that I think I wouldn't have a problem having a console game being on there. You know, like here's a fun fact: when they had Double Dragon on there, I was like, man, I wish that they would put the console version of Double Dragon 1 and 2 on there from the NES, from the NES. I'm sorry, I said NES. I'm not that guy. I hate that word. I really do. But like there's just some console versions of games that you prefer. Like me, I prefer the console versions of Double Dragon 1 and 2 over the arcade game. Like they're cool. I literally didn't like Double Dragon the arcade until I played it on here. So,
PlayStation, when they put out that collection, that Kunio-kun collection for on PlayStation, I think they put it out for PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. I don't have a Nintendo Switch, but they put it out for PlayStation, and it was a collection of all the games they had. You know, the Double Dragon, River City Ransom, Renegade, all those Technos Japan classics, you know, that kind of stuff. All those games in one big collection. It was like, I don't know, it was like 30 games or something like that. It is incredible. And they're all there, and they're all, you know, something like that on the iArcade would be magnificent. And you could charge $30 for that because people would dig being able to play those games in an arcade form factor.
Yeah. And I kind of agree with Steph's comment where she's like, she will see TurboGrafx 16 games on there because something like Bonk or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like that might be great to have, you know, or maybe
Dracula X, Rondo of Blood, Steps.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's maybe everything doesn't have to be arcade. You know, Retromania Wrestling is a perfect example of that. That's not an arcade game. That came out on PS4 and Xbox. It's a spiritual successor to WrestleFest, but it's essentially still a console game, which is PS4 and whatever else, right? And it runs on there, you know. So maybe delve into that a little bit. You know, maybe go get the collections. A game that I'm surprised that they have not tried to go get yet, and I'm pretty sure that iArcade could run. I'm surprised they have not approached the devs for Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Literally, like, why not? Like, that team, you know, is a former Marvel's Capcom 2 team. You know, the game is simplistic enough where everybody can pick it up and play. And literally, that's a game that I think that they should go get. Literally, Battle for the Grid, like, go get it. Honestly, look, iArcade, if anybody's watching this or if y'all hear this, like for real, go after Battle for the Grid. Seriously, and it's an esports title. People love Battle for the Grid. Go get it. You know, I mean, maybe get the Super Edition so you can have the DLC, whatever else, right? But that would be great on the arcade. And it would run it. It genuinely would run it. I took off my glasses just to say that.
Moat, I'm telling you, I love this conversation because this is exactly where my heart is at with the iArcade. I want it to succeed. I want it to be the dominant force in the home arcade market, and I truly believe it can be. It has the potential beyond anything, and that's why I'm sitting here like all the games that you mentioned are not only possible but completely realistic for them. It's not even an issue. It'd be like, go after these TurboGrafx 16 titles. Step says, I want to see TurboGrafx 16 games on iArcade, specifically stuff like Legendary Axe, Keith Courage, that were not on the Turbo Mini. Yeah, that Turbo Mini was a ripoff. And they have ColecoVision, Bring On My Turbo. Listen, you know, going back to Bithead 1000, he did a phenomenal video ripping Konami a new one for that TurboGrafx 16 Mini. That was literally one of the biggest ripoffs I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Sega Genesis. Well, actually, no, we can mod that, so that's
we can mod that one.
Mod is modded. That ain't that bad.
Nobody. See, it's not that they couldn't mod the TurboGrafx Mini. I think they did, but I don't think anybody really cared, and it just kind of got swept under the radar. Yeah. But I think they modded it. I think I remember seeing a Patton Plays video on that. Goofy Foot here with $1.99 super chat. He's laughing at Console Fanboy. Laughing my ass off, Console Fanboy. Okay, maybe it's not CT. I think you're talking about Sharon Peters.
The conversation that we're having earlier.
Yeah. You guys are talking about Sharon. Sharon is Sharon is wonderful. She's awesome. Console Fanboy says Run and Gun 2, Run and Gun 2, Run and Gun 2. And Papa Brad's Gaming says, I pray for Run and Gun 2 for you, Console Fanboy. Yeah, that would be a good game for iArcade to grab too. They got some whack basketball game on there now, some little basketball game where it's two little kids throwing a little beach ball around, basketball kind of thing. But they do have Neo Geo Street Hoop, which
I saw that.
Which to me I enjoy that more than NBA Jam. I think that game's wonderful. So I have it. I have it on the iArcade, and of course I got it on the MVSX, and I love playing it. And you can play it online now, so that's cool too. So I couldn't be happier with that. But we got Steps here commenting saying they can't mod the Turbo Mini because it has no reset switch, and it won't work with Hack Chi, which is what the NES Mini, SNES Mini, and Genesis Mini use. I don't think Steps, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think they used Hack Chi for the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. I think they used something else. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
I don't think that's the issue.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think that's the issue because the PlayStation Classics modded, and that got modded with Auto Bleem. And you don't need the reset button for Auto Bleem. You just turn it on and it boots.
Yeah. So, and all of these minis that you mentioned were done by M2, all of them. And so they all have very similar ecosystems.
Right.
So the Hack Chi team has been able to really, but I think you're right about Hack Chi on the Turbo Mini though, because I think there was something else that they had to do for that one. I'm not sure, but I just didn't like the Turbo Mini because I felt ripped off with the Turbo Mini. I kind of liked the selection of PC Engine CD games that they had. They had a few really good ones. I mean, Sapphire alone. I mean, come on. Sapphire and Dracula X were both on there. It was like, dude, that's great. But there were a lot of games that were missing. And again, I think Bithead 1000, he had the best video about the TurboGrafx Mini.
That's a problem with a lot of the mini consoles that came out. Especially when the Hack Chi team started doing the work, and you started to see like, oh well, games were being left off on purpose. 30 games on the NES Classic, and then you find out you're able to put about almost the whole library on there. Actually, you were able to put the whole library on there, and you're just kind of like, well, I feel screwed. And then, being able to put 140 or 150 games on the SNES one.
Well, I had the SNES Mini, and the SNES Mini, I had the entire library for Super Nintendo, the entire library for Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I had PlayStation games and arcade games on it.
Were you running that through like OTG? Were you OTGing with it or something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's why. I was going to say, like, I was just talking about, like, just stock, like, without, like, any add-ons. Just
with stock, without the OTG cable, there's some stuff you can run. You could literally put the entire SNES library right on the stock kernel if you want to.
Right.
But I never wanted to do that. I just used the OTG cable. And what I ended up doing with the Mini was once I got tired of it, I gifted it to a friend, and
that's awesome.
That to me was cool. It went to a friend of mine who has a young son who's just getting into retro games and stuff and loves it, plays all that stuff. So that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, you could do a lot of crazy, awesome things with these minis. I mean, you could even put these minis in a cabinet if you wanted to. I mean, it's insane, all the stuff you could do. And I kind of felt like it was better. I mean, at least for me, I thought the SNES Mini was better than a Raspberry Pi. I loved it. I loved all the things you could do with it. And, and again was so disappointed by the TurboGrafx 16 mini, because I was a huge fan of TurboGrafx PC engine. So yeah, that's Console Fanboy says Sharon loves plugs. This is why I plugged in. Oh my God, you guys always have fun with Sharon in the chat. I think Sharon comes in here and just knows she's gonna light up the chat and be the life of the party every time. Are you?
It'll never happen. But it'll never happen. But I'd love to talk to Sharon for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Just to confirm that she's a real individual. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to just find out.
Send your deposit via Cash App. $15 deposit. Those who know. Okay, Mo. What was I gonna say? Have you ever purchased an arcade 1-up that you regret?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, actually, a couple of them.
And don't say the $18 countercade.
No. That was great, because
that's a great purchase.
Yeah, no, that's a win. Like, literally, the Mortal Kombat countercade that I bought, I gave it to my son. You know what I mean? So no, that's a W. I'm probably gonna give that thing away in a giveaway or something. I don't know. No, I definitely have bought arcade 1-ups that I didn't want, but it was FOMO, or it was just like, yo, you know. And again, I blame Ralph. I have to blame Ralph for everything. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one, and I realized this when I was looking through footage today, when I was trying to make a thing for the Moat Plays channel, so I could have something to play on the thing. And I looked at the background, and I had the first gen Mortal Kombat. So yeah, first gen. Actually, I got first gen Mortal Kombat for $150. I don't feel bad about that. But Turtles, like, and I love Turtles, but it was like, man, Turtles is one of the games that if you play once and then you beat both versions, you're not just gonna keep going back in to go and play. And it doesn't matter how much I love Turtles, you know. At the time there was no online, so you were just playing by yourself, or if one of my kids wanted to play or whatever, right? You know. So Turtles was one because I paid full price for that. And I was like, man, I dropped the $420 on it, you know. And I was like, man, Turtles would probably be that cabinet. That and the NBA Jam, because the NBA Jam I got, like, the riser was all messed up and whatever else, and I took it back to Walmart, and Walmart was like, yeah, we don't have another one, so I had to return that. So only regrets. That's why I tell UAG all the time, I'm like, dude, look, I know you got to sit in your garage. You're not doing anything with it. Just sell it to me. Just give it to me. It'll probably sit in a box until I get a house, but just sell it to me. But I think the first Mortal Kombat and Turtles, like, those are my two. I mean, Turtles has a good story because I was able to sell it to a dad who had like 3 kids that were just excited to play Turtles, and I pretty much got my money back. He bought it for $380, so hey, there's that. And then my Mortal Kombat, I was actually able to sell it to my friend Nick Phoenix, and he gave it to his son. You know, and so it's as long as we're like paying it forward and somebody else is getting to get joy and stuff out of it, like, I'm all about that. You know what I mean?
That's what I do. I had a Mortal Kombat. I bought a Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary cabinet from Arcade Mod Up, and it was about 2 feet tall, small, and it has, you know, the Johnny Cage side art.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice looking cabinet. It's not one of their little little things where it's got like a little not a Raspberry Pi, but kind of like a Raspberry Pi substitute. One of those little has a little TV box in it, and it's got a 10-inch screen, and it has all these thousands of games on it. And I did the same thing. I gifted it to a friend of mine. I'm like, you know, this is, you know, something that you'll love. And he doesn't have any arcade cabinets, so he loved it. And, you know, him and his kids are gonna play it. And I'm just like, those are the kinds of things that when you get done with a cab, a lot of these cabinets, you're better off gifting them to people than you are selling them, because
Right.
you're not gonna. Because here's the thing: if you put it on eBay or you put it on any of these sites, and 9 times out of 10 you're gonna end up having to ship it out. It's gonna cost you money to ship it, and some of these are expensive as hell to ship. You box it up, but by the time it's all said and done, you've spent almost $200 just to ship it, and it's like, no, you know. It's better just to gift it, or give it to somebody else. So let it go to a good home so that it, it doesn't just go to waste somewhere. And so that's kind of how I've looked at it. And Goofy Foot here says for 199 says Simpsons.
Yeah. You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't buy that because
Me
UAG almost talked me into that one, like legit. And then when I found out he returned it, I was like, bro, really?
Moat.
Really do. I was like, really?
Moat,
I'm like, yeah, I dodged
Moat, I've said this for the last 2 weeks now. For people that don't know, you get the MVSX, you get the high-low hack, you can play the Simpsons.
I have the high-low hack stuff downloaded. CT, like literally, CT wants me to buy that thing so bad. He legitimately sent me the video that had the file. Like it's literally sitting on my desktop. I look at it and I'm just like, yeah.
You can play the Simpsons, and it plays better than it does on the Arcade 1-Up dedicated cabinet.
I heard. And
there is literally no issues with the animation, no stutters, no sound issues. It is perfect. I just
that's
don't know.
A team of people. That's a team of people that care. You know what I
mean? My niece and I actually played through almost the entire game in under an hour.
Nice.
and it was so much fun to play it on the MVSX and to have it play so perfectly. And the whole time I was playing with my niece, all I was thinking, well, gee, the 1-Up would have costed what? And it would have been bad animation, sound issues, speaker issues, this, that, and the other, positioning of the buttons. And it's just like, I don't know, but just another thing to think about if you actually like The Simpsons. Thank you again, Goofy Foot, for the super chat. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like again, I've been thinking about it, but to the shipping thing, like, so funny story. CT Jason, when he did his X-Men, he bought his X-Men and stuff, right? Whatever, right? And he puts the picture up. And so, I DM him. One of my friends hates Cyclops. Like, they hate him so much. And I was like, yo, CT. I was like, bro, listen, I want that picture. I want that box art. I was like, but bro, I don't want to buy this cabinet just to torture a friend. I'm like, bro, will you send it to me? He's like, yeah, Mo. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, I'll mail it out for you. Like, yo, just shoot me your address and I got you, right? So he goes to the post office, wherever, to go ship it off, right? Just to ship the box. Now, mind you, just the Arcade 1-Up box. Nothing in it. Just the box. Do you know they want to charge him $130 to ship that thing? Just the box. CT messaged me that. I said, CT, I was like, bro, I love you. I was like, dog, but that box ain't worth $130. I was like, yo, like, return that, man. Like, seriously, return that.
Return it now. Don't even bother. Yeah, shipping prices now are insane. You're better off. And that's why I say, if you care about the cabs at all, you're better off just gifting them to somebody that you think is going to deserve them if you're going to get more. I mean, I understand people feel like, well, I got to sell it. I got to make some money back so that I can buy the next thing. And that's the other problem I have with Arcade 1-Up. The way with the re-releases, with constantly putting out new versions, people get a version and they think they're happy with it. Great. And then the next thing you know, a couple months later, a new version comes out and it's like, no, I want that version. But my thing is this: I didn't buy any of their Midway legacies because I know their practices. I've been paying attention to you guys for too long. I'm like, I know their practices. I know what they're doing. So for Mortal Kombat, I'm just going to wait till the 30th anniversary comes out, and then I'll get it, as long as it's not over $4.99. It's just insane. It's just insane. And Papa Brad's Gaming says here, CoinOps X seems to run Simpsons well too. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, right. Papa Brad. You are absolutely right. It does. I play it on my homemade couchcade right next to me here. I don't even get up and go over to the MVSX. I just load it up on CoinOps. Yeah, it plays wonderful. But if you want to play it on an arcade, though, don't buy the Simpsons cabinet from Arcade 1-Up unless you can get it for like $50.
people are getting those things for like $200, $150, and I'm flabbergasted. I'm just kind of like, hey, where are those deals at over here? And then I realized my Walmart doesn't sell them anymore. So yeah, it's all right.
And I got to give a shout out to another one of my brothers from another mother, Skywalker the Jedi, with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Skywalker. You know I love you, bro. He says, just wanted to come through to drop an evil super chat for my good friend. I see you're in good spirits. Keep it that way. Hashtag Voltron. That's right, Skywalker. We are Voltron, all four of us. And when we form Voltron, we are unstoppable.
Yo, that being said, Chad, I know it's not my channel, but I'm gonna chill a little bit. If you can form feet and legs, and you can form arms and body, and ZodWriter is your head, go ahead and hit that like button because it's free and it helps the channel grow.
Thank you, Moat. I appreciate that, brother. I'm just loving this conversation we're having, man. I feel like we're just like having a good time talking about this. This is what I'm talking about. You should be able to have a positive discussion with no drama and just enjoy, the stuff that you love. And that's what I love about late night Q&A. This is what it's all about. Me getting to know you and learning about your likes and dislikes with all these cabinets and stuff. And man, it's just fantastic. It's just great stuff. All right, man. Out of all your cabinets, you said that the iArcade is the best product right now.
Right.
But is it your favorite? Is it your all-time favorite of all the cabs that you own? Because you look like you got a lot of cabs there. So I want to know, is it your favorite?
Oh, my favorite is the ugly girl that I put in the living room. I'm sorry, everybody else. It gives me options. Listen. You can either give me a high end dinner. You know what I'm saying? We can go fine dining and I can have some filet mignon or I'm saying, or have some really high grade sushi. Like in Chicago, there's a sushi place I want to go to that's like $100. Anyway, I'm saying you can have a really high end dinner or whatever else, right? But then you can leave the restaurant. You still got to go to McDonald's and go get a burger or something. Or we can go to a nice little buffet where maybe I can grab some chicken wings. Maybe I can grab this and this and this and then be satisfied. You know what I mean?
Are you in Chicago?
I am in central Wisconsin. I am 3 hours away from Chicago.
Okay, cool. Because I'm in Illinois. That's why.
That's what's up.
Office Arcade was the city.
Yeah, Office Arcade is like trying to talk about getting everybody together and do a Galloping Ghost thing. Like he literally DM'd me the other day. Shout out to Office Arcade, man. I know he's not making as much content as he used to, but he's making shorts. So there's that. But
that would be
it's Betty. Like look, Betty does a lot of good things. She's great. Like, you know what I mean? Like she literally scratches every itch. Betty reminds you with CoinOps X, anything is possible. And I'm running 5.0. Anything is possible. You know what I mean? Look, let At Games put out a board that has more power on it, like Tim Taylor. And I can run Marvel's Capcom 2. It's over. Legitimately, like I'll go in there. I'll turn it on. I'll play Turtles in Time, or I'll turn it on and I'll play Golden Tee. The main reason why I haven't rushed out to get Golden Tee. Anybody knows me, I know that most of the time I start my morning off.
You got that nice trackball on the ALU. What do you need to go buy a Golden Tee?
Right. Bro? Anybody knows I'll go in there and I'll go get an Eagle in. Like that. That's what it's about. She does everything. Literally, my best investment. If I had to keep one cabinet, if all the other cabinets had to go. You know what I mean? Like, well, first off, I'm pulling that PC out of that one. But if all the other cabinets had to go and I can only keep one, I'm keeping the Legends Ultimate because she does so much. Like, she's great, She does so freaking much. And no disrespect to the arcade, no disrespect to the arcade one-up stuff, man. But and this is why I get frustrated with At Games because I'm like, I know you guys put out a new version, at least sell a new board with a little bit more power. So we can start running a little bit more high-end stuff.
Well, isn't that what the Core Max is supposed to be?
So the Core Max is supposed to be an add-on for like the Legends Gamer Pro or the Legends Gamer Mini, where it can run the pinball stuff. I don't really care about pinball. Bones keeps trying to get me to buy one.
But it's also
more power.
Allegedly more powerful to the point where
it's definitely more powerful.
it would probably be able to run PlayStation up to Dreamcast. Probably.
Yeah, and that's what they said, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all, But it's just something about like ZodWriter. It's just something about just hitting that button and then watching the glow come up from that black screen with the yellow letters, getting look at the side and see Vader and whatever else in Wreck-It Ralph. I know it doesn't make sense, but just work with me.
It doesn't make sense, but we gotta make it.
It don't make sense, but just rock with me on this one, right? You know what I'm saying? And you turn it on, and you see that yellow glow, and it just says Legends Ultimate because we got bills around here, so I ain't got no big pixel. But listen, if anybody from Ad Games is watching, hit me up. I'd love to collab. Anyway, so just turn it on, and then you see the 150 games. You see 300 games. You're never gonna play Aladdin or what I'm saying, Asterisk, whatever. Like you're not gonna play any of that because you're going right over to the right. I'm tapping 3 times, and I'm loading up Coin Ops X.
Oh, that's all you need.
You know what I'm saying? And when I load up Coin Ops X, and if I'm impatient, I just hit the button so we can get straight to the love making on these buttons. But if I'm taking my time, I watch the little splash screen and it tells me to enter the coin, and I watch T-Hawk give Fei Long a nice little tornado slam, like he just rotated the joystick on the 360, and then I look and the games are like, oh, and then I go to my favorites and I'll tap on the game, and I'll just be enamored and just taken away. And I won't hear anything for the next 50 minutes because I'm enjoying myself. The Legends Ultimate will always stay, and the rest can go. And I'm not an arcade. I'm not a shill for Ad Games. I'm just a realist. Like it's amazing.
No, you're not a shill for anything.
Maybe in 2 years. Maybe in 2 years we'll be able to say that about our arcade. But right now, put me on a desert island or put me in a position, gun in my head. All of them got to go, but one has to stay. I'm going to ask for them to let me take the PC out of that Bobby Vu gimmick. You know what I'm saying? But then after that, yeah, Legends Ultimate, yeah, we're good. And that's the other thing. I can put that via OTG on the Legends Ultimate. It's so good, man. It's so good. There, I'm going to stop waxing poetic about it now.
And also, you can also connect your consoles to the Legends Ultimate as well.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Putting that out there. So, I mean, really.
Yo, Sharon, Betty takes 20 minutes to get ready after you turn it on. Listen, Sharon, I don't know if you know about me, but don't nothing in me take 20 minutes to get turned on. How you doing? Anyway.
And with that, Mike says Core Max is more powerful, but requires the right software to drop in order to take advantage of the added power. Yeah,
exactly. And I don't think the team's working on the teams. I don't think they're working on that yet. They might be, and maybe they just haven't put it out yet. We don't know.
Well, they probably got to get the Core Max first.
Yeah,
see what's popping. And I keep telling people, and this is my prediction: Core Max is going to run Killer Instinct.
Oh,
Game over.
I don't doubt that it won't. It should be strong enough to do that. Like there should be no reason why.
And it'll run it great, to the point where you won't even have that glitch where they say fight on and they do it really quick and it disappears. You'll actually be able to hear it. It'll actually like the actual cabinet, right? I'm at the point where I know that I have my faith in At Games because of the At Games Legends Gamer Pro. Like you talk about the Ultimate, and like I told you, I made my own Couchcade version of the Ultimate. So I can see where you're coming from. I mean, I'm in the At Games ecosystem. I'm right there with you, and I don't even have to get off the couch. So for me, it's kind of the same feeling as far as being able to play virtually anything you've ever wanted, and not having no issues whatsoever. And I gotta say, Coin Ops X, the best part for me is seeing the bezels on the sides.
Yeah.
You pull up a classic game like Qbert or Pac-Man, and you got the classic bezels, and you got the game formatted in the way it's supposed to, and you can change the scan lines to vertical or horizontal, and you're just there in that experience. It's almost like a virtual reality experience, kind of, because it's essentially giving you that digital feel of that authentic arcade. And then, of course, the fact that the controls on the At Games products are so good. You're
Yeah,
you're not missing anything. You don't need. I haven't heard anybody say, "Well, I need to replace the controls on the arcade. I need to
Never.
replace the controls on at games." No,
Never.
you don't. Never. That's the one thing. That's why I say with one up, I don't. I understand that some people don't really care all that much for San Juan clones, but I mean, you can't do much worse than what they already do with buttons and sticks at this point. It's just kind of like,
I think it's a lot of obsession with having that need to tinker. I think with the arcade one up, it's with arcade one up stuff, people are more liable to go ahead and mess with something and try to do something, because if they can't fix it, they know that there's a third party seller like Glenn's Retro Show or say Retro 530 or whatever, right? Who will be able to fix their mistakes. You know what I mean? Like people, like if you mess up with the Legends Ultimate, a lot of people aren't doing that. But if you mess it up, like with a gamer, if you mess it up, you can order a Gamer Pro and replace the panel. Or, you know what I mean? Like if you got a Legends Ultimate Mini, you can order the Mini and do that, or hook up another panel via Bluetooth. There's options with Legends Ultimate,
again, options.
Yeah.
Options. And you've there with all these arcade experiences and all of these ways that we have to play these games, do you see it? Are there any ways that you think it could get any better in terms of how products are more and more products are becoming available, and we have more and more ways to play all this stuff? Really, any game that you want to play, it's possible to do so at home now. So is there any way that you think that the home arcade hobby can get any better in terms of, I guess, convenience and ability to play your favorite games?
It could, but that would also require more money, more of a financial investment from us, the consumer. Like Raw Thrills is always putting out good stuff. Cruising Blast, cruising, right? And the Tomb Raider. I played the Tomb Raider game, the Tomb Raider gun shooter or whatever. It's based off of Tomb Raider 2013, that the remake that they made, and it's really good. And I was sitting there playing. I'm like, man, I'd love to see this at home. But then I thought about the kind of tech that it would take to run that
space,
right?
Like a cockpit in the house, like
I'm like, it's still, I'm still the mindset that, man, like I still want Star Wars trilogy, and I want
yes, that would be
a
great
version, like I saw Papa Brad's video of the PC and the mods that Collins and Russ did for him, and it almost made me jump out the window and message B and be like, hey, bro, you think you can give me one of those too? But then I remembered I don't have a Star Wars cabinet. But it's whatever. There's always room for improvement, as technology advances and whatever else, right? The argument I always hate hearing is that we can't run X, Y, and Z because the power's not there. No, the power exists. It's just, do you want to put the money into it to make it run? You know what I mean? And there are so many great current modern titles that are out in arcades right now, whether it be maybe the Transformers game, or I'm not saying we need to play Halo, the arcade game, at home or something like that, but even the remake of Jurassic Park, like those kind of games are great. Will we ever get there and see that at home in a home setting? Maybe 20 years, because certain things need to be able to run, but they need to be able to run affordably. For if you're going to want to run those games now, you might as well pay a company like Dream Home Arcades or something and pay $4,000 and build a multi-K that'll run this stuff, But in this space right now, I'm not saying it's a renaissance, but we're definitely starting to reach an era where things are about to get really good.
Oh yeah,
really good.
Yeah. There's going to become a time where we're going to be where there's not going to be any game that cannot run. It's going to be, and I get multi-cades are only going to get better and better too.
Yeah.
I've always drooled when I see these hyper spin PCs and stuff where people they've got all the games ever, and then they've got all like the modern stuff right up to PlayStation 4, and it's like, well, you're the amount of power you need to run all that stuff is insane. But
Right.
and that again, that's why it's so expensive. But you get what you pay for there. But I don't know. Mortal Kombat is coming online for the 30th anniversary, and that is a milestone. So I think we should all be happy about that. Looking forward to Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Pro. And yeah, man. I mean, it's some great stuff. Papa Brad says all the companies are getting better with getting arcade games to work that were never designed to be played online. That's a great point. That's a great point, Papa Brad. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and pin that comment. That is a wonderful, wonderful comment. Thank you.
And he's right. And Papa Brad's right. We are spoiled. Look at the stuff that people freaking talk about in videos, not games or whatever. We've gotten to a point where we're complaining about
monitors
and artwork and marquees.
Well, you could always change out the marquee because the marquee is washed out. Well, change out the monitor, change out the buttons, change out the sticks.
ZodWriter, let me ask you something. When you stand in front of your arcade and you're playing the game, are you staring at your marquee all day?
No.
Do you know the only time I look at my marquee when I'm standing in front of one, when I'm looking at them, it's like when I'm in front of a camera right now and I can see like my lights reflecting off of them. That's the only time. If I'm playing Killer Instinct or I'm playing Big Blue or playing arcade, I'm not looking at the marquee. It's there. It's a nice feature. It's great, but I'm not gonna be like, hey girl, you want to come over? Yeah, check out how pristine my marquee looks. Yeah, you want to touch it real quick. Yeah, it's nice, right? Yeah, that's
no. It's like OTG. It's like OTG says. These arcades are date repellent.
Right.
The girl comes in your place, sees all these arcades. I gotta get something out of my car, and then you don't see her again.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like they're toys. Like Rexer. He says all the time they're toys. They're not full size. I don't want full size. Like I don't want an authentic cabinet because that's too much work. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just want it to be easy. Sometimes you want it quick, fast, and in a hurry. What's better? Do you want to, I'm saying, you're hungry. You want to spend 25 minutes making breakfast, or do you want to take 2 minutes and put this toaster strudel in the oven and be satisfied? Sometimes you want the toaster strudel. You know what I mean? So it's just the stuff that we're nitpicking about. And it's that everybody like nitpicks, including myself. I am guilty of it. Okay. I am absolutely guilty of nitpicking. There's that culture now. It's like, well, I wish that we had these. I wish that we had that. You know what I mean? But we're our own worst enemy. We started getting these things, and when they came out, when arcade went up, started, and they came out with the first wave, I got my Street Fighter. I didn't complain at all because it was Street Fighter. I had it at home. It was a dream. It was something I was like, this is. And in my head, I was like, it never gets any better than this. And then Mortal Kombat and Turtles came out. And I was like, it still doesn't get any better than this. And then they put out Marvel Superheroes, and I saw my man Thanos on the side, and that artwork was beautiful. And I was like, yeah, this is it right here. And then Marvel's Capcom came out with it online. And then this cabinet came out with it online. And then you got better versions. You got this, and you got that. It's just, we have gotten so much in such a short time span that we're like complaining about anything. It's like, let's use Nintendo for instance, right? And I'm a Pokemon nerd, so excuse me when I say this, right? But if I have an authentic copy of Pokemon Silver and then they do a remake, you know what I mean? I'm going to tear it apart and be like, hey, well, this isn't like this and this isn't like this, because, now when you hear people like Rex or Ralph or whatever, people who actually own like authentic arcades, I'm going to listen to them because what they're saying is valid, right? But if Joe Schmo from the block is just a content creator and doesn't own a real one and hasn't had to discharge CRTs or whatever else, right? I don't want to hear you complain about freaking, oh, well, the buttons in Pac-Man are bad. So what? Who cares if the buttons in Pac-Man are bad or whatever else, right? Are you competing in esports on there? No, you're going there to play, and you knew what you bought. And I think that's the biggest issue that I always have when people buy stuff just to complain about it. You know what I mean? It's bad. Why are you pissing and moaning about it? And yes, Papa Brad's right. We are spoiled. Are the Big Blue and KI lobbies dead? KI, you can run into a person. I'm in offline mode with KI because that thing will keep going off. KI actually is active. But Big Blue, Yeah, man, it's a ghost town, but y'all know why it's a ghost town. You know exactly why Big Blue's a ghost town. If they're dead, is MK Online Doom 2? I don't think so. It's different. Mortal Kombat has its own following. Mortal Kombat's following is way bigger than Street Fighter's.
Massive.
Like it's way bigger than Street Fighter's, you know. I put out the video. I usually don't put out videos of like, hey, pre-order this, whatever else, right? But I literally put out a short while I was editing video and whatever else, right? To tell everybody, hey, this is coming out. Get your pre-order in, even though it's a legacy, get your pre-order in, because once the Mortal Kombat fans find out, oh, snap, we can play this online. Yeah, dude, that thing is going to be gone. That might actually be more popular this year than Marvel vs. Capcom 2 because people love Mortal Kombat. It's just something about that feeling of doing a fatality and ripping and having Sub-Zero and ripping somebody's spine out of their body. Or, you know, for me personally, it's Mortal Kombat 3 or Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and loading it up and being smoking, blowing up the world, whole block up, right down. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's nostalgic to people. And just to be able to just get online, Mortal Kombat's a different breed, literally. And besides, listen, if Mortal Kombat's dead, look, console fanboy will buy 10 cabinets and make 10 different accounts, and he'll keep it alive himself. And they'll sit there with chicken skin and stuff, you know what I mean? And then just like, yo, a match will ping up, and then he'll just play. I'm kidding, of course, console fanboy. You know I'm kidding, bro.
Worst Jago says on Fightcade, MK gets way less people playing than Street Fighter.
But that's fair. That's fair. But you have to think, Fightcade's not for the casuals. Fightcade's for hardcore. Fightcade's for the people who want to play Third Strike and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. You know what I mean? The casual person is going to see Mortal Kombat and they're going to buy Mortal Kombat. You know, it's going to be a lot of gentlemen out there begging their wives to take it home, or vice versa. Their wives telling their husbands or whatever, wives telling their wives, whatever else, right? It's Mortal Kombat. Like, literally, Mortal Kombat is iconic. And I'm saying this as a Capcom guy. I can understand and appreciate the value that, you know, Mortal Monday had back in the 90s. You know what I mean? I can appreciate the fact that the anticipation for this game is so high. There's a reason why, for somehow, some way, every week on the Laundromat Wars, freaking Zohar is fighting somebody in Mortal Kombat. There's a reason why, like, you know what I'm saying, he's sitting here, him and Rex are going back and forth for the belt of who's the best MK player, et cetera, right? Because it's Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? Like, it's iconic. We have a freaking rating system because of Mortal Kombat, you know. It's transcended just gaming, man. It's not just pop culture. It's getting a resurgence. Like, no, I don't think those lobbies will be dead. I think those lobbies will be alive and well, especially at a $4.99 price point, or $4.50 if you use that code.
Yeah, $4.50. I mean, you're talking about them being reasonable on a level that we didn't think they were going to be with Mortal Kombat. I didn't think they were going to be reasonable. I thought, you know, at one point I'm like, for me, I said $4.99, but when other people were saying higher prices, I was like, yeah, it's possible they could. I mean, Killer Instinct was $6.99, and I'm
I paid the $7.40 for that. Yeah.
No, and that's what it is. And Worst Jago says, I hear you, Moat. I just don't see a ton of casuals going out to pay $500 to play old Mortal Kombat games online with an arcade one-up that takes up a lot of room in their house.
And I feel you on that. But to that, Jago, I say this. I go to stores all the time. You know what I mean? Like I said, I literally just found out that my Walmart just stopped selling them today, right? But the one cabinet that I could never find in stock was the Midway Legacy. That thing was always gone. There'd be one, and then I come back the next day, and it's gone. Yeah, I probably need to stop going to Walmart. Yeah, whatever, sue me. They sell SD cards and stuff. I need memory. But seriously though, like a $500 cabinet is more palatable than, say, a $700 Simpsons or a $700 X-Men or a $700 Turtles or a $700 TMNT. It's easier to be like, okay, this is $500. Let's maybe try this out. And the worst case scenario, if they buy it from a store like Best Buy or Target or whatever, right, they can just return it. You know what I mean? And then somebody can get it open box and they get a deal like that, you know. I feel you though, Jago, dude. Like, you would think, but that also goes to this argument. You think the casuals wouldn't buy it, right? But there's a reason why Pac-Man sells all the freaking time. You You know what I mean? Like
Pac-Man is the greatest rebuttal you could make. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you know what I mean? And so there's a reason, and we're all Pac-Man'd out, So reason why Pac-Man sells and Miss Pac-Man sells, and we're just like, man, who the hell's still buying Pac-Man? And so you go to somebody's grandparents' house or their aunt's house, whatever, and you see they've got an arcade one-up. There won't be anything else in there. They won't have anything cool electronics related, but you'll see a Pac-Man cabinet. I think Mortal Kombat's going to have that same effect. Again, Midway Legacy was really hard to find. You know what I mean? Especially now, it's extremely hard to find. Except now, everybody's putting them on. All the people who are buying the new one, you can find one on freaking Marketplace, right?
They're modding them and putting them on Marketplace,
right?
And trying to sell them for $1,000. Raspberry Pi 4 with 60,000 games on it. Like it's a Midway Legacy, but it's modded.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing, And it's just the casual fan who wants to play Mortal Kombat. And they want to play online to see if they still got it. You got to think about all the old dogs who used to go to the arcade. Like, man, that was really good, man.
Here's the one thing that'll kill it, though, and I'm going to tell you in just a moment here. Goofy Foot with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Goofy Foot. You are awesome, man. He says MK spanned more generations in the arcade than any other title.
He's right.
I agree 100%, and that leads me to this moat. The Mortal Kombat Legacy cabinet. For $4.99, beautiful looking cabinet. Great. We're all in this community. We're all getting it for obvious reasons.
Right.
But the casuals, remember, this is the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat. The 30th anniversary exact date would be October the 8th. Mm-hmm. That was the birth date of the original Mortal Kombat release in the arcades. Now, what if, and I'm just putting this out there, they decide to release a Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary collection online for home consoles? We're talking about PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PC, and they make it online where you can play online.
So if anybody who's has a PS3 or 360, remember the Mortal Kombat collection that came out?
I remember that.
I have that. You know what I mean?
I have it too. You can't play online anymore. Yeah, you can't play online.
So
but it's still okay.
Yeah. So
it was done by Code Mystics.
It was done by Code Mystics. That was literally what I was about to say next. Code Mystics did that. So it's easy enough for them to just port that game, put it on new consoles, right? Nothing wrong with that. But as someone who loves like playing fighting games, or whatever, right? There's just something about playing something at a cabinet that you can't mimic. Like sitting here playing in front of a PC or in front of my TV and using a stick. It's not the same as standing in front of a cabinet. And then, what I'm saying, with the hunch, you got the hunch and the lean over a little bit, and that determined that. And I'm not saying Survivor Eye of the Tiger, but it's just something that you match up against somebody randomly, On a console, so people can rage quit, fine, whatever. But if you do that on there, people are going to know you, and they're going to see your name, and they're going to go on these Facebook groups and
you're the rage quitter.
Exactly. Those receipts will be had. So they could do that, and yes, people might buy it. Of course, they will. Arcade Mortal Kombat fans are definitely going to buy it. I wouldn't doubt it at all. They'd be stupid not to do it. That's leaving money on the table. But that doesn't take away from that. That definitely doesn't take away from buying the 30th anniversary. It's just like the Capcom collection that's coming out next month. That's still not going to stop people from buying other Capcom cabinets or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's still got to be something for everybody. And again, it's more of a showpiece thing. OTG said it's JJ repellent, right? But that's also clout. You can be like, look, I've got this in my game room. I've got a pool table. I've got a dart table. I've got, I've got a bar and whatever else, and I've got a Mortal Kombat cabinet. How many guys would be proud of that? Now, granted, some of them are probably gonna have to buy their wives or significant others something to compensate for that. But I think it's gonna appeal to casuals because everybody loves Mortal Kombat. You know more people that know about Mortal Kombat than you legitimately know about Street Fighter. And we used to be able to say that about Marvel, but since the MCU exists, Yeah, everybody thinks they're a Marvel aficionado, but that's a whole other topic. That's a whole other thing. But a lot more people are more geared to know about Mortal Kombat, and like that's cool. And especially if they know like their spouse, whoever's into it, they can get their spouse to play, and then that's your in, you know. Or if you're a single dude, bro, like you just want to buy it, just buy it, you know. I probably have a lot of stuff in this room that's for JJ repellent, you know what I mean? But yo, it is what it is, you know. It's fine. But as far as the casuals go, they'll buy it, you know. What they'll probably do is probably try to wait until like a Black Friday or something like that to see if they go on sale, or maybe wait on deals, whatever else. Especially since Best Buy selling them, maybe that's the move. But they will sell. Those cabinets, I will say, they do not sit on the shelf long.
Now, are you gonna buy a Johnny Cage add-on for your cabinet?
No, that's dumb. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase that. It's not dumb. I don't have the patience. I don't have the passion for Daniel Pacino like other people do. So I don't think I'm going to spend like $50 or $100 to get a fat head of Daniel Pacino to put on the side of it. Maybe, unless I lose a bet. I don't know. But again, I don't look at the sides of my cabinets. I'm right in front of them. You know, like.
From the front, it's good enough.
Right. But from the side, I'm not looking at it. Because if that's the case, then Marvel vs. Capcom 2 will be turned to the side, and it have its own space so I can stand there and look like, man, look at the Juggernaut and Colossus and them looking stoic and strong on one side, you know what I mean? And look at the other side, like, man, look at Ryu. Like, yeah, no, I love the artwork. It's great, but it's not the first thing I do. I'm not sitting there standing and looking at it like, isn't she lovely? You know, no, that's not me. Like, it sucks that they can't put them on it, but that's not Arcade 1-Up's fault. That's a whole other thing. You know, you guys can Google the Daniel Pacino stuff, right? You know
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's not on him.
Do you ever have a situation where you just turn all your cabinets on and you just listen to the sounds, the ambience,
just turn it on and get that feeling? Yes.
Yes, that feeling.
Because if you're not doing that, then why do you have cabinets? You know what I mean? Like literally.
I know. I actually thought it was because I had like a form of like some sort of attention deficit disorder, because sometimes I'll do that where I'll just turn all the cabinets on and I'll just be like, like your brain. It's like that nostalgia overload kind of.
Yeah, well, you can close your eyes and you know what I mean. You can close your eyes and something in your memory just triggers that smell of like old pizza, and like, you know, if the bowling alley or wherever you went to had smoking in it, you know what I'm saying? Just those smells and the feeling, and you can feel that, you know. For someone like me, it's euphoric, you know, and it instantly takes me back. And I think that's why, you know, you have all these options to play these games, but it's just something about having them all, you know, and it's a magical feeling, and it's hard to replicate, literally.
It is hard to replicate, but thankfully we have so many options to at least attempt that replication, and it's been done well. Sharon Peters says a Pac-Man cabinet is the ultimate panty dropper. I don't know. I just don't think so. But
listen, to each their own. You know what I mean?
OTG's story was the best. I mean, because it's truly. She walks in, goes to the bathroom, sees all the cabinet. I gotta go to my car.
Like so I always imagine it to that scene in you guys will probably see it, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where he first meets Ramona. And he walks up to her and he's like, "Did you know Pac-Man was really your name, Puckman, in Japan?" And then she just shuts him down. She's like, "I'm okay." He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go." He's like, "Yeah, sure." Always imagines like that. Like, yo, you talk to a lady and your opener is Pac-Man. Like, come on, bro. Like, you gotta ease her into it or something. But hey, but if it makes you excited, you know, Pac-Man's not the only one that likes to gobble things up. I guess I don't know. You know, there's ways to flip that.
Sharon Peters says, Dolores Moat is taken. He's dating his @Games legends. And Dolores Peters responds, I'm a legend at Games too. Oh my God, these Peters sisters are
I'm not dating my @Games Legends Ultimate, you know what I mean? Like I put her over because she's strong, but yeah. Why though? But why? Oh man,
Oh
y'all are
my
wild
god.
right, chat.
Oh my god. You guys are wild. You guys have been great tonight. This has just been fantastic. Moat, can you
Yes, sir.
tell everybody what you got coming up, man? Because your content is so fantastic. What do we got? What do we got to look forward to with Mike of All Trades coming up?
So let's see. What am I actively doing? So tomorrow I'm running the my lunch break stream, you know, for people who are bored on the Mo Plays channel. So yeah, you should check that out because it's like the gaming stuff that I want to do that I can't do on the main channel because apparently YouTube likes to slump me in the algorithm with just home arcade and reviews and stuff. So yeah, there's a whole separate channel for that. As far as the arcade stuff goes, there ain't nothing really out there. So it's just, we talk about what we want to talk about. You know, I'm not gonna cover the Ad Games mini pinball micro thing. You know, whatever. Let's just keep that a buck.
I'm not into
But
pinball either. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not a pinball.
I'm
not a
with you,
jukebox.
bro. I'm an arcade guy, not a
Yeah,
pinball
yeah,
guy.
I'm not a pinball wizard. I'm not a jukebox hero. You know what I mean?
Pinball puts me to sleep. It's just
Right.
like, no, thank you.
But Chill and Chill podcast stuff. The Outsiders episode 2, myself, Retro Ralph, Travis MCP, and UAG. That'll be on June 7th, so be on the lookout for that.
Beautiful.
Other than that, hey, go check out my website, MikeOfAllTrades.live. I just launched the website this weekend. It's pretty cool. If you want to see my internal thoughts about things or read my blog, or just want to have a one-stop shop for Moat, man, there you go. Other than that, just hanging out and maybe be trolly or giving feedback or pissing off people or making people happy. That's what I do. At the end of the day, I am who I am. You can like it or love it, and hopefully some of you at least are in the middle about it. You're undecided, and if you're indecisive, go to my channel, drop a sub, and let me convince you, and I will show you the way, my brother.
Well, Mike, I just want to say thank you so much, man, for being on with me tonight. This was such a blast. I swear to God, man, I feel like I've been talking to you all my life. You've been speaking my language this entire time. It's so much fun to talk to like-minded individuals, and you are awesome. And this is always great. You are welcome back anytime. Sharon Peters says, "Don't end the stream yet. I still have my clothes on." And Sharon also says, "I love pinball as long as there's a big plunger." So
listen. Sharon Peters, I don't understand how you're still not taken with all this stuff that you're saying. You know what I mean? But one day somebody will snatch you up. But it was a blast, yo. I had fun. It didn't even feel like, holy crap, it's been 2 hours. I didn't even notice. Literally, and that's the essence of great conversation. You don't even notice the time. That's
what I try. That's what I try to do with this show. I try to get it so that it's organic. It's a conversation, and time just melts away. And that's how you know you're doing something right. And when I have great people to talk to like you, Moat, it's not a problem. It's always fun. And I couldn't be happier. I love these shows. I love the way they're all turning out. This community is so wonderful. It really is. I mean,
listen, chat, do me a favor. If you support anything that I do, or even think that I'm kind of cute, smash the like button. Let people know, hey, this is what you want to see. And if there's anybody that you guys want to see here on the ZodWriter show, let ZodWriter know. He's got a Twitter. You know what I mean? He reads the comment section. He's all like, I always think that I'm doing a lot, but I see ZodWriter almost live almost every night. I'm like, God dang. But seriously, literally help it grow. I look forward to the next one, to whoever he's having on next. You know what I'm saying? Maybe later down the road, I get to be on here again and we can shoot the crap and whatever else. And the like button, chat, it's vital to the success and more interviews. But I'm thankful for letting me be here. I appreciate it so much.
Oh man, much love, man. This was fantastic. And Mike here says, "I figured you took your clothes off when they started talking about Big Blue." And Sharon Peters gets the last word. Philosophical question: if P-Nubs was to ever tragically lose his arms, do you think he would call himself P-Nubs? Wow. Sharon, I'm gonna just let that one go. I don't even think we should answer that.
Yikes.
That's
a yikes. That's a big yikes right there.
That's a yikes one. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, And I will see you tomorrow night, where I will be interviewing Mr. El Presidente, Mr. Abu Nas. Good night, everybody.
Good night, chat.
Peace.